That song is really meaningful and powerful, as is, for me, the spiritual practice of Sankofa. Is anyone here familiar with Sankofa? It's a West African practice or proverb, and it's the practice of looking back for seeds of wisdom to carry with us into the future. And Sankofa is represented by the mythical Sankofa bird whose feet are pointed forward. So if you go looking for a Sankofa bird, which there are many images available to us, make sure it has feet. Many don't. So looking back for nuggets of wisdom to carry with us into the future. One of the ways that we practice Sankofa at the United Church is looking back at the ancient Hebrew language, because that is the language that our faith tradition is built upon. And I've been spending a lot of time with a Hebrew word which has been translated into English as separation. And the idea or concept of separation is first mentioned in the story of creation, which is found on the opening pages of the Hebrew Bible in a book called Genesis. This is the Donna version of the story. In the beginning, the heavens and the earth were created. Is that a familiar line? In the beginning, the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the surface. And the Spirit of God, she, was hovering, brooding, moving, fluttering, vibrating. And then God said, "Let there be light," which is not at all an accurate translation. Because in the ancient Hebrew version of the story, God was not speaking. She was vibrating. She was moving energy, perhaps sending light. Moving energy is how things and movements and we are created. So in the ancient Hebrew, the word which was translated from Hebrew to Aramaic to Latin to Greek to German, then maybe to English, is dabhar, D-A-B-H-A-R, which I'm sure is not the Greek spelling, the Hebrew spelling. But it means holy divine vibrations. Dabar. English translators turned into words. In the beginning, the Spirit, she was brooding, hovering, moving, vibrating, and there was light, and the light was good, and the light was separated from the darkness. Just as the Hebrew word dabar had nothing to do with speaking, the Hebrew word translated separated has nothing to do with distance or difference or separation. It has everything to do with companions and companioning and connections. Hebrew words, for those who may not be familiar, are actually word pictures. So on the next slide, that's the word. 3 images, 3 symbols, and they are read from right to left. So the first symbol, I think I put one on each slide maybe. The first symbol, can you go to the next slide? Okay, I just broke it down that way. It's for the human. The second symbol is a tent flap, and it's important to remember that tent flaps move 2 directions, right? And the third represents the divine. And actually, if you have someone besides me teaching, that's a flame. It's light for the divine. So what the Hebrew word picture portrays is the back and forth movement of the holy and the divine. So what I was taught as separation of light from darkness is actually, in the original context, connection. The word picture represents an eternal movement of the holy and the human. And the more I think about this holy movement, the more I see it. The light and the darkness, the good, the bad, the wind, the waves, the winners, the losers, the sinners, the saints. That's been true since the beginning. There is no separation. At the center of creation, there's companionship and connections, and as I said, for me, this concept is just, it won't leave me alone. It is worth deep reflection. But it does bring us back to our own connections. The connections between our respective denominations and the connections between our two congregations. The United Church of Christ and the Unitarian Universalist have been companions on the journey for a long, long time. Way back in the 70s, they began collaborating on a project called Our Whole Lives. Are you familiar with that? Our Whole Lives. The Unitarians have actually much better website for this, much better images. This is a comprehensive program, educational program about human sexuality, which, as I said, was created in the 70s and is now being updated probably for the second, third, fourth time. It is honest, accurate information about sexuality which dismantles stereotypes and assumptions and builds self-confidence, self-acceptance, self-esteem, fosters healthy relationships, improves decision-making, and has the potential to save lives. What a gift that would be if that were offered in our community, right? What a gift that would be. Talk about being bold and daring and different. Wow, imagine offering accurate education about sexuality. You know, our schools teach abstinence, right? Our churches teach abstinence, right? Okay. So, yeah, doesn't that work well? Foundational to all is the fact that all humans are sexual beings from the moment we're born to the moment we'll die. So it's broken down into age groups, which means there's a curriculum for old folks like me. You might fit into a different category. I think it's fabulous. There's training available for facilitators beginning in October over in Gainesville. What a gift that would be. And it'd be hard work too, because again, we know where we are. But I think it's fabulous the way we collaborate and we are moving through that tent flap together. There's actually another movement in the UCC, which I feel is following in your footsteps. We have made a resolution. We love resolutions. I don't know how y'all roll, but we love resolutions. To honor the wisdom of all faith traditions. That's a big deal for Christians. That's a big deal for Christians. And I personally believe that has a lot to do with our general minister and president, who is an immigrant from Jamaica. So I'm not sharing this with the hope of converting you, but rather to convince you you're not alone on this journey. It's rough out there, but you're not alone in doing this work. You're not alone on being part of a faith tradition which dares to be different by being open, welcoming, and affirming. Right here in this conservative little community. It's hard work. It's necessary work. It's vital work. And for some folks, it is a lifeline of survival. Y'all, you are important in this community. You are important in this community. Maybe what I'm really trying to do is convince myself that I'm not alone on the journey. It's rough out there. It can be lonely. I see the comments. I try not to see them on Facebook. I'm the gay pastor. I'm not gay. I'm the gay pastor. It's like, okay, that's the worst you got to say. But it's been my experience that it's hard work. Work we need to do together to uphold, share, and live into our shared values. Because sometimes it's dangerous. All the time it's costly. Takes time, determination, companionship, and energy to be people like we are. I brought a couple of resources. Oh, right here they are. That outlines our values. I'm going to put them here on the table. And again, I sent to Emma links so you can get to all this stuff. But our values, this is how we put them out. Countering Project 2025 with love. Yeah. And I think just you can skim over and see how we're connected. I also brought you my show and tell, my Sankofa coloring sheet, but I brought some for you too. Yeah, I should have been a school teacher with my love of paper. So in closing, I want to share the understanding of Jesus that I have, which gets me in trouble, but also informs my faith and my actions. Because again, I am a Christian. I was born into a Christian community, and I serve a Christian congregation, and here's what I often hear myself saying: I'm a Christian but. And I've heard it so much that what I really hear is, I'm a Christian but. And in my understanding, if you're going to do the work of activism, sometimes you got to show your butt, right? I can say that here, right? Okay. The Jesus I know calls us to follow and disrupt. To disrupt. So this is a biblical description, the Donna version, again. And it begins with the words of Jesus' mother. Mama sent Jesus out there to do this stuff, right? A young, unwed, pregnant mother, right? When Mary realized she was pregnant with the baby Jesus, she sang a song that had been sung for generations. This is a Hebrew song sung by the Hebrew women. And it's a song about the Spirit of holiness shows up, moves through that tent flap, and disrupts. The Holy Spirit turns the world upside down. So again, this is Donna's version of Mary's song. This is good news. I'm dancing the song of those who accompany me and save me on my journey. I'm pregnant with promise and possibility. Wisdom and mercy flow like wave after wave of divine energy, buffeting those tent flaps, moving through the air, disrupting the status quo. First it's here, then it's there, and it's everywhere. Scattering the bullies, upsetting the braggers, knocking tyrants off of their thrones, pulling victims up out of the mud, rescuing the helpless, the homeless, the hopeless, sharing a banquet with people who are starving. A few years after Mary sang the prophecy, Jesus began his earthly ministry by standing up and making an announcement. This is the work I will be doing. This is how it's going to go down. That's what he said. Again, the Donna version. And by the way, in my Bible version, everyone's Southern, okay? So Jesus stands up and says, the Spirit of hope and wholeness is moving me. The spirit of liberation and healing and salvation is calling me, wooing me, pushing me to bring good news to the poor, to heal the brokenhearted, to release the captives. And as a result, the deaf will hear and the blind will see, and the outcast and the demonized and the downtrodden will be freed. There's a situation happening in our community right now which is disrupting me. And I don't want to get us too far off, but then again, yeah, I do. I just want us to know there's work that needs to be done. Last week, 5 children between the ages of 11 and 14 were arrested. Yes, in different schools in Putnam County. And I'm going to be honest with you, I am so shaken by this, I can't even read what the sheriff's office put on Facebook. Their pictures are all over. What would Jesus do? Disrupt. What's Donna going to do? We are gathering to disrupt. So I invite you to be my companion on the journey. As near as I can tell, they're trying to address mass shooting. 4 of these 5 children are of color. Of color. Maybe all of them are. I'm threatening. So we're going to be gathering, and you guys have my email if you want to stay in touch or friend me on Facebook. But there's a group of us who, this is not the first time. This is in different schools in the county. I think they're disconnected.
It's going on all over the state. There's a sheriff in Florida who's doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I don't want to get us too far off topic, but I get power dynamics. I get men in uniform and children. I get immigrants, fear, sacredness, safety. I get that. I value law enforcement. It's not the people, it's the system. So anyway, that's a whole nother sermon. I go on vacation again in May, so I can come back. So anyway, you know what happened to Jesus after he made his announcement about how he was going to be disruptive? Everybody looked at him. Then they stared because they were amazed that he was going to get up and make a difference. And then someone laughed and said, no way. That ain't never going to happen because that's Joseph's boy. He's from Nazareth. He's from the north side. Right? He lived down there in Crescent City in the barrio. He might be kin to that weird lady down in Pomona. He might be one of those folks from All Souls. That's what the people will say. And then the crowd rose up in a fury, and they mobbed him, and they took him to the bridge and tried to throw him off. But he moved through the tent flap. He made a difference. Modeling the holy human connection. Showing the way for companionships. Showing the way for people who are determined to make a difference in themselves, in their community. Even though it's a long, hard road. So that's the title to our closing song. And I promise you this, Gay did everything possible to keep me from singing.
No, I didn't. That was to keep me from singing.
Oh, to keep you. This song, there is a video for it. And again, I've sent you the link in the magical resource sheet. But this is a call and response song. It's not one to watch. It's a song to sing to each other. And I know you don't know it, and we don't even have anything in here. Jack, don't you play guitar? I need a... No. Oh. Oh, Linda. Yeah. It starts on a low E flat, so I don't even have a way to get us there. But I do have the lyrics. So once you catch on, you can sing, but you can all keep the rhythm. You don't have to stand. You don't have to stand. Nobody has to do anything they don't want to do in this space. Isn't that what I heard?
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe you heard snap. Maybe you thought I said stand and I said snap. Y'all, that's... Yeah. So I need you to keep the rhythm. It's lyrics. It's lyrics. That's just a fake. I made that by myself. So I need the next. Okay. Well, it looks like it might be a long road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. And I know you might have a heavy load, but I can carry some too. I will lift you up when they push you down. I will raise my voice and stand my ground. Well, it looks like it might be a long road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. Well, it looks like it might be a long night, but I ain't going nowhere. And I know it's going to be a hard fight, but I will stay right here. I will shine a light in the darkest hour. I will face the man in the tallest tower. Well, it looks like it might be a long night, but I ain't going nowhere. I will work, I will fight, I will strive in the name of love. I will speak, I will shout, I will sing to the stars above. Well, it looks like it might be a perilous climb, but I will follow your lead. And I know it might be a long time before the last one of us is free. That's hard. Well, I hold on tight, stay by your side. I will be with you for the whole damn ride. Well, it looks like it might be a perilous climb, but I will follow your lead. Well, it looks like it might be a long road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. And I know you might have a heavy load, but I can carry some too. I will lift you up when they push you down. I will raise my voice and stand my ground. Well, it looks like it might be a long road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. I'm gonna walk it with you. I will walk, I will climb, shine my light the whole night through. Might be a long road, but I'm gonna walk it with you.